Hey guys, in today's music gear quick review, I'm going over an omnidirectional antenna that I've been using with my in-ear monitor systems lately. It's this guy right here. This is the Sennheiser A1031U. It's an omnidirectional antenna that can be used with your in-ear monitor systems. While I personally have been using this with my in-ear monitors, this does work as well with wireless microphones, wireless guitar systems, and stuff like that. Primarily during this video, I'm going to talk about with in-ear monitors, but it does apply to both. So most in-ear monitor systems usually have the smaller antennas, either quarter wave or half wave antennas, and those work in most situations. But if you want to have a little bit more range and better reliability and just kind of just a stronger signal in general, this is definitely a good way to do that for not a whole lot of money. So I do want to thank one of my subscribers, Matthew Payne, left a comment on one of my videos a while back explaining how this worked well for him. And I checked it out and it's been working great for me. So thank you for leaving that comment and suggesting this for me. So I know that this is a Sennheiser system. So you might be asking, can I only use this with Sennheiser products? No, this is actually system agnostic. You can use it with Shure, Sennheiser, Phoenix Pro, Audio-Technica. And if you look at that comment that originally inspired this video, he actually used it with Phoenix Pro and an Audio-Technica one. Basically, you just have to have detachable antennas because you do have to connect to it with the BNC cable. So if you have something like an old like Shure PSM 200, which have been discontinued, but if you're still using those antennas do not detach, so you can't use it with this. But as long as your wireless in-ear monitor system is operating between 430 and 960 megahertz, it'll work with this system. If your in-ear monitor systems are in 2.4 gigahertz or 5.8 gigahertz, for example, you won't be able to use it with this. And it's listed at only about $150 to $180. So it's not cheap by any means, but it's also not super expensive. Like some of the paddle antennas, the directional antennas can run you about $300. So this is about half that price. Speaking of directional versus omni, this is an omnidirectional antenna. So it gets the signal from everywhere, from all around it. You might see some of the paddle antennas, and those are directional antennas. So those are meant to pick up only like what it's pointed at and reject what's behind it. So that can be great if you're doing something like, where your in-ear monitor rack is off on the side, kind of in monitor world, and then it's just pointed directly at the stage because obviously you don't want to pick up anything from behind the stage. However, if you're like me, most of the time our in-ear monitor system kind of lives by our drummer, usually, kind of in the back of the stage. So it doesn't make sense to have a directional antenna. It just makes more sense to have one omnidirectional antenna because it kind of lives in the middle of the stage. So for me, it's actually been working great. If you do want a more directional focused antenna, it would make more sense to get a directional antenna if your in-ear monitor rack is off to the side of the stage. So you will need to get a BNC cable in order to connect to this. So that comes out of the front. So with my Sennheiser system, normally the antenna is in the front. And so I just took a BNC cable and screwed that into the front up here. So if you need one of those, I'll post a purchase link down below as well. So you can just attach one of these to a mic stand. It does come with, a mic stand mount, but this can go onto a microphone stand, which is one way to use it. So putting these on a mic stand can definitely be beneficial because it can move it away from your rack. So if you already have a bunch of, wireless antennas in your rack, this is a good way to remote mount it so that you don't have a bunch of antennas on top of each other, which is a great way to get dropouts. So moving it away from your rack is a good option. And another benefit about using something like this. However, I like to have it on the top of my rack, so I just use a clip. So that's why I got this thing right here. And yes, my mind went exactly in the same place as yours did, but this is the clip and this goes onto my in-ear monitor rack, and then this screws in on the top up here. This clips onto my in-ear monitor rack, and then this lives on top. I hope YouTube doesn't demonetize me because they think this is something different. Actually, funny story, the first time I got this was on my way to a gig. Amazon showed up like right as I was heading out. So I grabbed this and put it in my car and just left this without this in the passenger seat and went through the drive-thru. I guarantee you they didn't go, oh, this guy's got a new antenna for his in-ear monitor system. So what can you do? So don't just leave this sitting in your passenger seat on the way to a gig. Also, FYI, you can use a passive antenna combiner system. So you can attach two different in-ear monitors to this one antenna. That's a great way to reduce the number of antennas on stage, because one of the things that can happen if you have too much wireless on stage or all like together, all the antennas together, you can get dropouts that way. I do have a video about 5 common mistakes when using wireless music gear that you should check out if you're interested in learning more about that. But using a passive combiner, you can combine two in-ear monitor systems to just one antenna. If you use more than two at once, you're going to need an active antenna combiner system. But the general rule is if you're combining two systems, you can use a passive combiner. If you're combining more at once, you need to use an active combiner. So just keep that in mind. So which type of antenna do you need? So I'm from the philosophy, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If your antennas on your in-ear monitor systems are working right now, you don't need to upgrade. Just go ahead and use what you're using. However, if you have been running into problems, perhaps upgrading to one of these will be better for you. So again, an Omni Directional antenna might be best if you have the antenna on stage, again, like me, where it's usually living by our drummer and it needs to kind of spread over the whole stage. However, if you are further away from your in-ear monitor rack and you need to throw the signal in a directional way, so like if you're in monitor world or even at front of house and you need to point directly at the stage and reject everything behind it, a directional antenna might be better. And I'll link to some of those down below as well. Wireless can be tricky. Make sure you don't use the wrong thing. So purchase links to all of these will be down in the description down below if you are interested in checking these out. There will be links for Sweetwater as well as Amazon. So that's basically it. Do me a favor, just hit the thumbs up button. Many thanks again to Matthew Payne for suggesting this product. Please leave comments down below if you have any other products that you want me to check out. Definitely a fan of always checking out new gear, especially if it's an affordable product. So if you are interested in my compact portable in-ear monitor setup, I do have a video about that. And also I have a video about 10 different products that have helped me out with my in-ear monitor setup. So both of those videos are available by clicking the links on your screen now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages at Scott Newell Music on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.